Doing it live.
Live via satellite.
No, well, Wi-Fi, I guess. Is that like satellite?
Sure. Wi-Fi it is.
It's like Goldeneye with the shitty satellite CGI.
Yeah. And Pierce Brosnan.
EMPs.
Your favorite Bond?
I really like, Daniel Craig.
All right, besides Daniel Craig. Because everybody likes Daniel Craig.
I know. I like Roger Moore just because they're like campy Bond. I don't know. Those were always the ones I always gravitated towards.
You like the campy Bond better than like the Sean Connery ones.
I don't, but it's like the sentimental favorite. I acknowledge that they're bad.
But you
enjoy
enjoy them because you know they're bad.
Sort of.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you can't not enjoy Christopher Walken as Zoran.
Well,
good. Right on schedule.
He's had the most prolific acting career for someone who never changes tone. Other than, he's had a better acting career than Ben Stein.
Well, what about like Morgan Freeman? He never changes tone. And you either get busy reading the lines or you get busy dying.
Well, that's true. Well, I guess we'd have to choose between Morgan Freeman and Christopher Walken.
Freeman. He was Lucius Fox.
Yeah.
He was Red, Shawshank.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I'm on board.
And on that day, the Steelers won the game at the last second on a touchdown, not a field goal. Everything was right in Pittsburgh, but not in San Diego.
I'd like to tell you that Mike Tomlin got away.
I'd like to tell you that Mike Tomlin led the good fight.
All right.
The Wildcat.
Let's talk about football here. It is week 6.
I've been recording the last 2 minutes.
Oh,
so
I know.
I hope you have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's week 6, and this is the No Punt Intended podcast on Entertainment Buddha. With me, as always, is the number nerd himself, Mr. Justin Ludwig.
Yes, the same guy who tried his hand at daily fantasy sites for the first time this last week.
Your thoughts?
I can see how it can be fun. I can see how it can also be very frustrating.
Yes. How did you do?
Well, for instance, I made a lot of good choices, such as Alan Hearns of the Jaguars. Good choice. Carson Palmer was an okay choice. The whole crux of my story is that had I not chosen Buffalo's tight end, who got 1 point, I might have actually earned some cookies.
Was that
in return.
Charles Clay?
Yeah, he had 1 point.
Okay. And that's where it becomes tough in these FanDuel and DraftKings, because you have a set salary cap, so you're gonna have a couple, maybe 1 or 2 positions where you're gonna have to really dig deep and hope for the best.
Hope for the best. It's a crapshoot, because the guy that won had Doug Martin and Devonta Freeman,
right? And
I had Devonta Freeman, so that helped. But then there's no way you would have picked Doug Martin.
Well, he's had he's had a decent year so far. It's just Tampa Bay's bad. But certainly, I don't think many were expecting him to have the breakout game that he did this year.
No, it's one of those things like if you were restricted to just one entry for whatever the thing is, and you had to, if it were more a game of skill and less a game of how many entries I can fill out.
Well, that's true.
Then I think I would be more on board. But for me, it's just I'll fill one out and just take a flyer on whoever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna write like 50 lineups.
My strategy in the ones I've done is usually I try and team up a quarterback tight end or a quarterback wide receiver combo, like Brady Gronkowski or Brady Edelman or Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald. Somebody on a team that's been scoring a lot of points, much like the Patriots and Cardinals have, or Atlanta with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. I mean, because then that way you have a pretty decent shot that they're going to score some points, and you're basically doubling up on those.
Right.
But then
The high risk, high reward.
right. But then on the off chance that they get shut out or get hurt, then obviously you're out. But I don't know. I enjoy it. I did okay my first week, but since then I've kind of missed the mark just barely a few times. But I think I'm gonna keep giving it a shot and see how it goes the rest of the year.
Well, that's why it's daily. You get another daily to do your daily.
Exactly. How did we do last week with our week 5 picks?
You did nicely. 8-5-1. We had a push. It was Cincinnati and Seattle.
Yes.
Pushed. So you went 8-5-1. I went 7-6-1. So you won that week. Good job by you.
Thank you.
You were 7-7 on the over-unders. I was 5-9. The favorites went 7-6-1. Home team got barreled.
Wow.
Or punished 4-9-1. Barreled? That's not a word.
They got barreled
ELO,
over.
Barreled over. Sure, there we go. ELO because they don't bet the spread. Because they don't bet the spread because they're a bunch of pussies. They went 12-2.
They don't even count.
'Cause, you don't even count.
No.
I'm just using it for context.
Yes. All right.
We both successfully chose Chicago. Atlanta got boned because of the overtime. Where else did we get? We picked Cleveland. Good job by us.
Both picked Philly.
Buffalo missed the spread.
St. Louis also missed the spread. We
St. Louis.
didn't work out too well for us.
San Fran got it. And you successfully chose New England and Pittsburgh. Where did I beat you? Scanning.
You beat me at
Denver.
Denver. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yep.
And our hypothetical Indianapolis pick panned out. No matter what we would have picked. So,
Well, that works then.
yep. We should just be handicappers.
We should. We should. How does one become a handicapper?
College. Isn't it a major? No, didn't we say it was like an accrediting school last week? Or were we just making stuff up?
We
Is this like an ITT tech thing?
It-
Like you can like a vocational school?
like a 2-year kind of thing.
I'm calling the academy.
Oh, I think we decided it was an online program.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I can
You
believe
just
that.
sign up for online classes, and after 6 months or a year, you
After your check clears.
yeah, after your check clears, you receive a degree.
So on the season, you are 36, 38-2. I'm 39, 36-2. So we are not statistically significantly different.
No, but hopefully,
We're middle of the road.
hopefully we can improve on those records this week.
You wouldn't be doing too poorly in a Vegas Super Contest if that were your record of 500.
Well, I might have to look into that next year.
Might have to look. You have to go to Vegas. I didn't know that to sign up.
Well,
We have to do it in person.
I know a friend who has a friend that lives there, so
Oh, there
I'll
you
just
go.
send a proxy.
Yes, I'm Nick.
Yeah, see how that goes once the if the winnings come in.
Well, you just got to think positively.
Yeah. All right.
Think positively.
What do you say we get to these week 6 picks?
Start the tires and light the fires.
All right. First up, Thursday night,
Because there is no daylight.
divisional matchup: Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta's -3, only -3 against New Orleans.
No respect from last week, I
They
guess.
are on the road in New Orleans, but still.
Not home in the dome. Well, they're in somebody else's home, which is coincidentally also a dome.
Yes.
Ooh, -3. I don't know.
New Orleans just does not look. I mean, granted, Atlanta didn't look great last week against Washington, but New Orleans couldn't do anything after the first quarter of the Eagles game.
No, get no respect when you only beat Washington in overtime, I guess. I don't know, but is that more a reflection of Philly's actually good or Philly's lucky? I'm shrugging.
Well-
You can't see it.
I feel like New Orleans is not that good. I mean, obviously their record shows they aren't, but they seem to have trouble moving the ball, and Atlanta's defense has really stepped up this year. So
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons too, especially with Freeman and
Yeah.
Julio Jones and Hankerson.
Yeah. I'm taking Atlanta.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I was probably going to say the same thing. 3's kind of slap in the face. A figurative slap in the face.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Caps lock.
How about the over-under? 51. Is that the largest we've had this year to this point?
I don't know. I'm having trouble typing in the dark. Let's see.
No, sorry. Dallas Philly was 55.5 in week 2.
Wow.
And it did.
And what happened there? That wasn't even close.
They scored a total of 30 points.
Well, Atlanta was 51 in week 2 against the Giants, and it was 24-20. So that was sort of close. Atlanta was also 55 points when they hosted Philly in week 1. That was 26-24. So they were kind of close. I'm saying over. This is going to be a shootout.
I'm going to say under.
Whoa.
I think
why? Because their track record and these high over-unders?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely high, but I feel like this is going to be more of a one-sided scoring affair. I don't see New Orleans putting up a ton of points.
That's fair.
So I'm going to say under.
Okay. I think you're wrong, but
well, we'll find out. We'll find out Thursday night. We don't have.
We disagreed on the
we don't have
last time.
We don't have to wait till Sunday. We only have to find out this one on Thursday.
2 more days.
Yes.
Get out of the way, new comic book day. We got a football score to settle.
All right. Next up, Washington at the New York Jets.
Now we're on to Sunday.
Jets coming off the bye week are -7 at home.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 weeks to prepare for the Washington professional football team. There's no way you can lose this game.
No.
Even 7 points.
Do you think that's too high, though, for the Jets?
I don't know. They're pretty good, aren't they?
Defensively. Offensively, they have a strong running game.
Well, they also have Brandon Marshall, and he's been doing pretty well this year.
Yeah.
As I predicted when I selected him for my fantasy team.
That was a smart move by you.
That was a smart move.
I'm going to say Washington.
No, I was like, as you were saying that, I was already penciling in the Jets. 7 points is a fair. It's going to be like a 10-point margin. That's my guess.
Okay. I'm going to say Washington just because I think that's a little too high. And Washington has shown that they can make some plays.
So it's Washington beats the spread. Jets still win.
I think Jets still win, but I think it's a closer game than 7 points.
Yeah.
They'll
just go to overtime and do, play till a team wins because you don't end a game in a tie.
Well, let's hope not.
It's against the rules.
Let's hope not. Over under 40.5.
Let's hope not. I love a good tie, says Nick. I love when there's no winner.
No, it's
I paid $150 for these tickets. I tailgated. I've got a belly full of beer and bratwurst. There's nothing sweeter to cap that day than just not declaring a victor.
Well, nobody loses. Everyone should be happy.
I guess.
I don't know.
Under
40.5.
Yeah.
So you think Atlanta, New Orleans is going over 51, but Washington, the Jets can't put up 40.5 combined?
No, it's it's exactly what you were saying towards Atlanta, New Orleans. It's going to be so one-sided. The Jets have such a solid defense. Washington's not going to score. Jets are going to score enough, and then they're just going to sort of sit on it.
I'm going to say over.
Over.
Yeah.
You just like to antagonize me.
You know me too well.
So we've already disagreed on 3 out of 4 things.
It's week 6. Time to start separating the
flippity-doo-dah.
Yeah. What do we got next?
Next, it's the Arizona Cardinals coming east to play at Heinz Field, and the Cardinals are favored by 3.
Cardinals favored by 3.
Which is probably too low.
Well, let's see. The Cardinals so far this year are 4-1 against the spread. Only missing it when they lost to St. Louis in week 4. Every other
And
week.
otherwise, they've been killing their opponents, too.
Yeah. So 3 on the road, West Coast playing at 1 o'clock on the East Coast. Think that's an issue?
Oh, boy. This is like an algebra thing.
I'm going to take the Cardinals,
But
I'm going to take the Cardinals.
it just sounded like you had a little bit of a reservation.
No, only because I'm confident in the Cardinals because Michael Vick hasn't done a lot to prove that he can lead the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clearly after that game that they almost lost.
Yeah, exactly. Which gutsy call by Mike Tomlin.
I know it was a gutsy call. You know how I know it was a gutsy call?
How?
Because you called me right afterwards and you were super pissed off. I didn't pick up because I was already asleep, but you left me a voicemail.
Did I?
It was pretty funny. Yeah, you did. Hold on, let me get it here.
Hey, Justin. It's Nick here. Just, getting ready to watch this Pittsburgh Steelers team tie it up, and then we're gonna go into overtime. Nothing like a good overtime so I can have both teams not lose, because you know what? If both teams not lose, that's like nobody loses. That's all right in my book. Oh, and thank goodness they got rid of, Josh Scobie. So that's why I got Chris Boswell on my FanDuel's team. I'm gonna win so much money as soon as Chris Boswell kicks the game-time field goal. And here they come. Oh, no! It's a handoff! Le'Veon Bell! My FanDuel's is screwed! FanDuel's out!
Yep, that was me.
You sounded like you had like 5 or 6 hug fruit barrels at that point. You probably had another one, or threw one at the television.
Yeah, there's a couple pixels got short circuited after that game, but
And they smell like fruit punch.
yeah. All right.
Tropical fruit punch.
Yeah, I'll try and
Restrain yourself.
restrain myself next time we're in a similar situation.
Yeah. Gutsy call, but whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Because if you think about it too, if they go for the tie, there's a chance. Obviously, there's a chance they lose. They go 2-3 instead of 3-2, or if his knee comes down too early, then they lose the game there too and end up 2-3 instead of 3-2, and that could, kind of change the face of the season.
I just like to think of it as they're sitting there and they say, all right, Mike, what do we do? Do we kick or do we run? And then Mike Tomlin just sort of daydreams a second and he remembers all those missed field goals and he's just, run! Run! Don't kick, run. Just snaps out of it. Says, run.
He has like PTSD about kicking.
Exactly.
I just wanted to check the Ben Roethlisberger injury, but apparently there's no news as to when he'll be back.
No, he's got to be out at least another week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another week. But obviously, if he somehow does play on Sunday, it's going to be a bit of a different game. But yeah, I think he's out at least another week. Yeah, other than Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown hasn't done much with Mike Vick at the helm. So good news for Steelers is they'll get Martavius Bryant back. He's another deep threat at wide receiver. So maybe they'll get something going with that. But Cardinals' defense is too good. Their offense is too good. I don't see the Steelers keeping this one close.
No, it's because they don't do well with Vic because it spins the other way. It's like when you go from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere and the Coriolis effect takes effect. It's exactly what would happen if they went to the land down under and they saw a toilet flush. Their head would just explode. I'm not used to this.
They just couldn't handle it.
Footballs turn a certain way. Toilets flush a certain way. Let's go.
Yeah. So is it just as weird for people in the southern hemisphere when they come to the northern to see it go the opposite way?
Probably.
I don't really know many people in the southern hemisphere, but
it is summer now.
Yeah, I feel like the northern hemisphere talks about the Coriolis effect more than the southern hemisphere folks do. Maybe
the northern hemispheres, they always bring up that Coriolis effect. Just let it go.
Maybe they just have more stuff they can do down in the southern hemisphere.
They've got other things to worry about. Sharks. Dingoes.
Reef. Coral reef.
Coral reef. Is that a southern hemisphere thing?
A lot of it. Like Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
Uh,
There's a lot of it down that way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Over under 44.
Now we know. Over.
Over.
Arizona's going to do that themselves.
I agree 100%.
Of course, that just means this is a trap.
I
It's
don't
a
know.
trap.
All right, Admiral Akbar.
Akbar's just sitting in a dimly lit bar with one cigarette in a haze of cigarette smoke, and he just says, "It's a trap." It's a trap.
Well, let's hope not.
Well, he might.
For our sakes.
He might have done that in the Shattered Empire book. Who knows?
We'll find out tomorrow.
Find out tomorrow. Anyway, speaking of tomorrow, no, speaking of Sunday, Kansas City at Minnesota. Minnesota's -4.
Minnesota coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Minnesota.
You know, I assume Kansas City scored a touchdown last week. The
Well,
streak's over. One game.
Jamal Charles is out for the year
Oh, that's right.
with ACL or MCL. I forget which. But either way, he's out for the year.
MCL, ACL, they're all CLs.
Yeah.
They're all cruciate ligaments.
Yeah, they're all in the leg. They're all bad if you mess them up. Yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota's obviously coming off the bye. They've had, extra time to prepare, and the fact that Charles is out certainly hurts Kansas City. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's had a lot of time to prepare for this. And the injury. Is this, like, too good to be true? Like, is this too much of a slam dunk?
I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs are 1-4, but they have played some tough games.
So you're saying it's a hard 1-4.
Yeah, I mean, since week 2, they played the Broncos, Packers, Bengals, and then lost to the Bears by 1 last week.
Right.
So that's a tough stretch. There's 3 games in the middle there. But yeah, and with the injury to Jamal Charles, that obviously hurts their running. Nile Davis is a solid backup, but he's not the same guy. And Alex Smith is going to have to rely on his receivers and tight ends more. And I don't know if
Yeah, rely on his receivers.
Yeah.
All right, listen, guys. I'm going to need you now. I know I've been kind of a dick, but let's let bygones.
Yeah, and versus the Broncos, Packers, Bengals, Kansas City's defense has given up 31, 38, and 36 points. So, not exactly a stout defense.
They're going to get barreled over.
Barreled over Niagara.
Barreled over.
Are you taking Minnesota?
Yeah.
All right.
It's too much going against the Chiefs.
How about
as Admiral Akbar inhales slowly, lets it linger, then exhales, and once again says, "It's a trap."
I don't know who
like a veteran-aged jazz musician who's ready to bebop and scat all over. Under.
Under 44.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say under also.
It's like you're really depending on Kansas City to pitch in an effort when Jamal Charles is out, and they clearly don't like their wide receivers.
Right. And I don't know if Minnesota is going to be able to score that many points themselves. All right. So we both took Minnesota, both took the under, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect agreement. Well, we did it last game too.
Yeah. How about this next one? 5-0 Bengals against the 3-2 Bills. Cincinnati's -3.5 in Buffalo. Cincinnati looked really good against Seattle.
I know. That's the thing. Dalton's pretty hot too.
Cincinnati is 4-0-1 against the spread this year.
Yeah. 4-0-1. Really?
Yep. According to our spreads, I'm pretty sure.
That 3.5 is kind of a slap in the face too. I mean, Buffalo's, pretty solid, but
Well, they should be getting
Is Cincinnati gonna be solider?
Bills should be getting Carlos Williams back. He was out last week. They had to rely on Boobie Dixon. So that'll help.
Where's LaShawn?
He's out for a couple weeks. He's got a hamstring injury, I want to say. So I think he's out for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Hey, LaShawn, we're gonna trade you to Buffalo. You know what? I'm not even gonna play then. I'm just gonna sit out.
And Buffalo's gonna give him an extension, and he's gonna get injured. But yeah, Cincinnati is looking really good. I was surprised at what they were able to do against that Seattle defense. Put up. I mean, took them to overtime. 27 against the Seahawks defense is nothing to be sad about for sure. It's pretty impressive, I think.
Not even if they would have tied, you couldn't have been sad. Like, we just scored 24 points.
And that's how it ended.
Oh boy. Do they stay hot though? That's the question.
I think so.
Buffalo.
The offensive line has given Dalton time to throw. That's why he's been able to play as well as he has. AJ Green, as long as he's healthy, is always going to be able to make the big play.
I know, but they got to lose sooner or later.
Yeah, but do they lose to the Bills? Here's the next few games for Cincinnati. They have the Bills this week, then they're at Pittsburgh, against the Browns, against the Texans, then at Arizona. That's a game where I could see them possibly losing. I don't really see them losing to the Bills, the Steelers. I mean, unless Ben Roethlisberger's back for the Steelers, but even still, I don't see them losing. Bengals defense is really good. They got to Russell Wilson a lot last week. I don't see them losing till the Cardinals, perhaps.
Sure.
So I'm going to take Cincinnati this week.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that too. It's just, I don't know. Like going 6-0, that's pretty impressive. It's just something that they're really going to be able to do. I don't know.
So you don't have a lot of faith, or you're just playing the numbers game where you're thinking they got to lose at some point.
Right. It's just hard for a team to win so many games in a row, especially one like Cincinnati with they've typically not shown that they're the most solid of teams.
Well, I mean, in the last couple of years,
especially Dalton, he hasn't always been the most solid quarterback.
Well,
but then again, when Josh McCown throws for 450 yards,
yeah. Well, like I said, it helps that Dalton's offensive line is giving him time to throw. That's the big thing, because he had problems in the past where if he's forced to get rid of the ball quickly, that's when he makes bad decisions. Last year, AJ Green was hurt for part of the year, so he didn't have him. He had to try and rely on other receivers, and that didn't work out the greatest for him. So, I mean, it basically comes down to a health thing, and so far they're looking pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
How about the over/under of 42.5?
No faith. Under.
Yeah. I'm going to say under also. Buffalo's defense is very good. Cincinnati's defense is very good. This could end up being a low-scoring game, even with the offensive firepower that Cincinnati has.
Well, Buffalo's solid defense, but shaky offense.
Right. Yeah, I don't see Buffalo putting up enough points, and Cincinnati, might only need a couple touchdowns to win the game.
Right, especially after letting all out against Seattle. It's kind of like, maybe their tank's a little empty for this week. Even though they may win,
they may.
Tank a little empty.
All right.
Speaking of tank a little empty.
Pillar game alert.
Oh, already?
Possibly.
No.
Well, all right. Yeah, I just looked ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's one coming up.
Yeah, all right.
That's a surefire pillar game.
All right.
Anyway, the one that's like a good second place for pillar, Chicago Bears at Detroit. So it's an NFC North battle. Oh, that line's not right. It's Detroit minus 2.5, not 2.4. They're not taking my suggestions.
Well, now you're just
getting 2.4 points.
Now you're just getting finicky. Are you surprised the Lions haven't won a game yet?
Kinda.
Yeah. Me too.
Does seem a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, granted they lost a couple big names on defense, but with Stafford and Calvin Johnson and
Yeah, when you have Stafford and Calvin Johnson, you have no reason to lose.
yeah, it's
that many. With your first so many.
I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, Chicago's played well the last couple weeks since Cutler came back. They beat the Raiders and the Chiefs, not obviously super great teams, but they've
better than they would have been predicted to do.
Right, exactly. Do you take Chicago with the points? I think so. I mean,
even in Detroit.
Well, Detroit hasn't done anything to give me any sort of confidence in them.
Exactly, it's like the flip of Cincinnati. It's like you can't lose that many in a row. They gotta win sooner or later.
They don't have to.
Well, they don't have to.
Didn't Detroit
They've done
go
it before?
I was gonna say, didn't they go 0-16?
He's done it before.
When
when
was that?
There's enough talent that they shouldn't lose every game.
2008. 2008 they went 0-16.
2008.
They went 0-16. I don't know. I'm gonna take the points. I don't really like this game in a betting standpoint, but
I don't like this game in a watching standpoint.
Or that. I'm gonna take the points.
I'm not.
All right.
It's like it's rubber meets the road. They've got to win sooner or later.
Well, they could win but not cover.
That's true. But I mean, 2.4 points. It's like, how do you win and not cover? I know.
You win by 1.
You win by 0.1 points.
You win by 1 or 2.
You win by 2.3. Oh no, we missed the over under by 1. Oh no.
What over under 42.5?
Oh boy.
It's kind of an ugly one.
It is. That's too high for these teams. These teams aren't good.
Yeah.
Too much credit. Under. Speaking of under, I'm gonna rate this U. Okay.
I'll take the under also while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Detroit's put up. Let's see. They put up 17 last week, 10 the week before, 12 before that, 16 and 28 going back to week 1. So since week 1, they haven't cracked 20 points.
Yeah. So that's reason enough.
Yeah. But yet you still think they're gonna win and cover the spread
sooner or later. Yes.
Okay. Just like the Chiefs had to throw a touchdown to a wide receiver sooner or later.
Just dumb luck. Sooner or later.
Yes. All right. So I have Chicago. You have Detroit. We both have the under. How about Denver at Cleveland? Denver's -4. The 5-0 Broncos against the 2-3
Browns. Browns are frisky.
Would you like to know the Broncos against the spread this season? 4-1.
I always like to know these numbers.
4-1 against the spread this year.
They almost didn't cover last week, though.
They didn't cover against Minnesota in week 4. They were 6.5-point favorites. They won by 3.
That's why they got bumped down a little, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Cleveland's in a good spot right now. Peyton doesn't look like Peyton. Peyton doesn't look like Peyton.
I don't know how they won 5 games.
Like, they're still good, but they're not 5-0 good.
Yeah. Yeah, Browns looked incredible against the Ravens last week. Josh McCown was... I mean, can he do it 2 weeks in a row? That's the question.
Can he do it 2 weeks in a row? My FanDuels is hoping he can.
If you're taking Josh McCown in your FanDuel, then I don't know what
Johnny
to tell
Manziel
you.
did. It's like, hell yeah, I'm taking Josh McCown in my FanDuel. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Let's see. Browns have a tough schedule coming up after the Broncos. They have the Rams, Cardinals, Bengals, Steelers, and then Ravens again. And then Bengals after that. So their next... They have four divisional games in their next 7.
Get him out of the way, I guess.
I guess that's tough. I'm gonna. Cleveland is frisky. I'm gonna go with Cleveland.
Frisky.
I'm gonna go with Cleveland at +4.
Choice.
Even though Denver's 4-1 against the spread.
Yeah, but like you said, they didn't cover in week 4, and they narrowly covered last week. The bell tolls
Right.
for thee, Denver.
But that means I'm putting faith that Josh McCown can at least somewhat replicate what he did last
Well,
week.
it's in Cleveland, so there's that benefit.
Yeah. Denver's defense is better than Baltimore's, though. So that's the other issue. But I don't know. I guess I like the frisky Browns, as you said.
If they
All right,
weren't
let's
frisky,
move on before I change my mind.
then I wouldn't have taken him. Right?
All right. What's the over/under? 42.
Yeah.
I'll take the over.
Well, because the Browns are frisky. That's why.
Yeah. They better stay frisky. They watch us be like a 28-0 win by Denver.
They're not frisky
That would-
anymore.
that
They're
would-
phonies.
They're a bunch of phonies.
Yeah, Browns are phonies.
All right. What are you taking for the over/under?
Over. They're frisky.
Over 42. Is this a possible double push scenario?
You
Can
mean
the-
like Denver
like-
wins by 4 and they both score 42?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know. I'm just curious because this isn't a half point,
Oh, that's right.
and you're the math guy.
Purported. I don't know.
All right. Well, we won't worry about it.
That's like double zero.
Yeah.
Not like the double zero.
It's the double zero.
It's the double zero.
All right. This game.
Pillar game. Now
Yeah,
we've made it.
we're
The pillar
there.
game. We've arrived.
Houston at Jacksonville. Houston's -1.
He said with a groan. I'm taking Houston. Let's get it out of the way. Don't even give it as much.
I'm taking
thought.
Jacksonville. They were frisky last week.
Yeah, they still lost.
Well, yeah, but Bortles had 4 touchdowns. I don't.
He's no Josh McCown.
Well, but I don't know. I feel like the Jags are kind of onto something a little bit. If their defense can just stop giving up so many points.
We live in a world where Josh McCown and Blake Bortles are reasonable fantasy selections. I don't want to live in that
What
world.
does this come to? 2016 is shaping up to be a weird season.
So then what's the over-under? 43.5.
I'll take the over. I think it's going to be a
teams.
repeat of the Tampa Bay game score wise. Neither defense is very good, and
That's true.
you know, Jacksonville can put up points. They put up 31 last week. You know, it helps that they have Julius Thomas, who's obviously a weapon that people are going to have to pay attention to. So that opens things up for Allen Robinson and Allen Hearns. You know, for the Allens,
So
as they say.
If, this might be a good week for Allen Hearns to score even more fantasy points for you.
Fingers crossed. All right.
Fingers crossed. I did choose him last week in both my fantasy waiver wire and FanDuels,
Well,
which was paid and dividend.
That worked out for you.
That worked out.
Yeah,
Charles Clay didn't, but Allen Hearns did.
I'll take Jacksonville and I'll take the over, please.
And I would not want to watch this game.
I think I'd rather watch this game as opposed to the next game. I'm not sure.
Really?
I mean, only because I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Well, let's
Jacksonville's got some exciting, players that could kind of make some things
let's
happen.
pull back the curtain. The next game is Miami at Tennessee, and Tennessee is favored by 2.5. I don't know. It'd be fun to watch Mariota. at
Yeah,
least.
and Miami's got a new coach, so it'll be interesting. I guess, yeah, you're right. New coach will be interesting to see what happens in his first game. Well, interim coach, I guess.
Interim coach. Sure.
What's the spread?
2.5 for Tennessee. No respect for new coach. Or plenty of respect for Mariota,
I'm gonna take Tennessee just because I don't know what to expect out of Miami. With granted they've had the last, they were on a bye last week, and so they've had some time to work with Dan Campbell as the interim coach. But I don't, you just don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Tennessee. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee. Strictly because I don't know what to expect from Miami.
Strictly because Miami's a wild card.
Yeah.
Not in the fun sense, just in the literal don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
That sense.
So you taking Tennessee also?
Yep.
Over under 43.
I'd say narrowly under.
I'm gonna say under as well.
It's two teams that aren't offensive juggernauts.
Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest.
Let's see. Tennessee.
No weapons for either of them.
Well, Tennessee put up 42 against the Bucks, but the Bucks give up a ton of points to everybody. They put up 14 against the Browns, 33 against the Colts, and 13 against the Bills.
See, AFC East, 13 points.
Yes. And Tennessee's already had their bye.
Link.
All right. Yeah, for Tennessee and the under. And let's move on.
Let's put that one to
Yeah.
bed.
Favorite 1:00 game.
Favorite 1:00 game. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a good game, but probably Arizona-Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Cincy at Buffalo is a good second
Yeah,
choice.
those were the two I was most intrigued by.
I mean, if Cleveland stays frisky, that may be pretty fun. But that's like a contingent pick.
I'm just curious to see how much longer Peyton's noodle arm can keep making passes.
Till it falls off.
Like till it literally just like falls off and crawls its way to the sideline.
It's like Mutant League football. The quarterback's arm just falls off, but he keeps playing. Because that's Mutant League football.
All right.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Somebody will.
Somebody will. If you know
there it is.
What I'm talking about, there it is. Organic plug. If you know what I'm talking about with Mutant League football, just use the hashtag #AskNoPunt. You can just say Mutant League football ! And we'll just be kindred spirits.
Done.
We'll electronically high five.
You can send a high five emoji to @NoPuntIntended on Twitter.
Ooh, yeah, do that and just write Mutant League football, and we'll know.
Hashtag MLF.
Mutant League
First 4:00 game, Panthers at the Seahawks. The undefeated Panthers. At the Seahawks.
See, had Seattle not
Seattle is -7
pooped the bed. 7, so many.
against the undefeated Panthers. I'm repeating it because it's so absurd after what happened in the NFC South last year.
Listen, the level of absurdity has already hit a threshold. Josh McCown and Blake Bortles, the Bengals.
Well, we both discussed previously that Carolina's 4-0 is a soft 4-0. They've beaten Jacksonville, they've beaten the Texans, they've beaten the Saints, they've beaten the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but now they've had 2 weeks to go over this Seattle team.
Right.
A Seattle team that just lost in overtime.
And they're playing in Seattle.
Well, I mean, there's that, but is it worth 7 points? I submit no.
I'm going to take Seattle.
Really? Why? Oh, why?
I don't think Carolina's that good.
Oh, so you think that soft 4-0?
That's a very soft 4-0.
I guess.
Cuz let's see. They beat the Jags, who are 1-4. They beat the Texans, who are... What are the Texans? Do they have a win?
I don't think so.
Exactly. And then they beat the Saints and the Bucks, who are
Houston
also...
has one win against
All right.
Tampa.
Saints have one win, right?
I think so.
And the Bucks have one win as well, I believe, right? Or do they have
They all
two?
just sort of beat up on each other.
Yeah. So they haven't faced anybody that currently has more than 2 wins. So that's a very soft start to the season for Carolina. I don't think Carolina's good enough offensively to beat the Seahawks. I mean, who's besides Cam Newton, who's scoring points for Carolina?
Yeah, but is Russell Wilson up to his usual...
Ted Ginn Jr., who's drops balls like crazy.
Ted Ginn Jr.
And Greg Olsen is the reliable tight end. But other than that, they don't have a solid running game. They don't have a solid second receiver. I just don't see them being able to put up points against that Seattle defense.
I'm just saying 7 is a lot. It's a lot of faith to have in Seattle.
It's
just my thesis.
What's I didn't write down Seattle's record against the spread, but let me see if I can get it real quick.
Get my abacus.
They
Slide.
did not cover week 1, week 2. Where are they? Week 2, they did not cover that. So week 3. Week 3 they covered. They covered 14.5 against Chicago in week 3.
Oh, it's Chicago.
Well, it's still 14.5 points. They did not cover week 4. So yeah, they haven't been very good against the spread. What were they last week? Last week was their push. They were push. So only once so far this year have they covered the spread. So that's not a very good sign. But
no,
I think they cover this week because
I'm going against the odds.
Yeah. Well, they have to cover eventually.
Against all odds, Colin, the Nick Hershey story.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Seattle. I just don't think Carolina.
It'll be you looking pensively into like a sunset or something.
Yes. As I drive away in my convertible.
That's fine.
Off into the sunset. Yeah, give me Seattle, and I will take the
convertible, huh?
I'll take the convertible.
Off into the sunset. Anyway, speaking of off into the sunset.
Well, do we discuss the over/under of 41?
I'll take the under.
I'm gonna take the over.
I'll take the under.
Okay. How about the next one? Give it to us.
Me? San Diego at Green Bay. Green
No, the
Bay's
other
favored
guy on the
by
podcast.
11.5.
11.5. Aaron Rodgers had 3 turnovers at Lambeau last week. 3 turnovers.
Were they apple?
I don't know. Probably cheese.
Well, once you get in your convertible and ride off into the sunset,
Well,
just
I'm not.
make a stop.
I'm not riding to Wisconsin.
Stop.
Packers are 5-0 in the season. They're also 5-0 against the spread.
Ooh. San Diego didn't cover last week either. It's a bad omen.
Chargers are 0-2 away from home.
Oh, well, it's just all in Green Bay's favor. Take Green Bay. You'd be a fool not to. Foolhardy not to.
But double-digit spread.
Well, it's Green Bay. No.
You usually like those points.
I know. I don't know. I just felt confident with Green Bay. It was like a gut choice.
Yeah.
So I just said Green Bay.
I'm going to say Green Bay also.
Yep.
I think until Green Bay starts proving us wrong, I'm going to stick with them and ride that out.
Yeah, maybe it's an addendum. Like, never take the double-digit spread unless the team's undefeated or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
We'll make up rules as we go.
Yep, that's how we do. Reform.
All right.
Retool.
Over under 50.5.
Ooh, over.
I'm going to say under.
Why?
I think Green Bay scores most of the points, and I don't
okay.
think San Diego scores enough to get that over.
All right. That's fair. I disagree, and I'll take the over, but
All right. Well, you're allowed to.
I know.
That's what makes this back and forth so fun.
It'd be boring if we just agreed, right?
Yeah. It'd be the most boring podcast ever.
Ever.
What's next? Baltimore at San Francisco. Baltimore is -1.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
San Francisco is not looking good.
Yeah, but neither's Baltimore.
Yeah.
You just lost to 450-yard throwing Josh McCown, for goodness sake. You hang your head in shame and you go west.
Well, San Francisco played a tough game against the Giants that they almost pulled out.
Exactly.
But I'm going to take San Francisco. I think they get a win this week.
Yep, me too.
I think they get their first win since week 1.
Maybe this is a double push. 1 point over under 44.
Ooh. Yeah, that could
push.
That could work.
Can
right?
you bet a push? I think I've asked this.
I don't think so.
I'm betting on a double push.
All right. Well, what would the score have to be for that double push to work? 20. No, you can't.
I can't.
No, you can't. So no double push. Sir,
You've been stopped by math.
Sir, you can't win. I said bet it.
Take my money.
I'm gonna
Shut up and give me my gambling slip.
I'm gonna say over.
Yeah, me too.
Neither defense is very good.
Neither defense.
Yeah. All right, now
But
this
is
game.
either offense any good? Oh.
Well, I think enough to score 45 total points because we
Good
took
enough.
the over. I think so.
Good enough. Speaking
All right.
of good enough,
Yes.
I know I'm pausing for effect.
Okay.
Speaking of good enough,
Should I remove that comment I made in between?
no.
Okay.
New England goes to Indianapolis, and New England is favored by 9.
And
To
you know
avenge
why
last
they're
year's-
favored by 9.
Yeah, because Tom Brady's going to score a billion points.
Deflategate.
Deflategate.
It's all about the revenge for Belichick. And Vegas knows. You think they don't, but they do. They know.
They do.
They dig.
check.
They dig. And New England is another team like Green Bay where I'm going to take them until they start proving otherwise.
Till the wheels fall off.
So I'll take New England. Is Andrew Luck expected to start? Or
I think so.
Are they getting Matt Hasselbeck, who's actually winning games for Indianapolis?
Yeah, what do? Do you still
Well,
start Hasselbeck or Luck?
No, if Luck's healthy, you go with him.
Luck is probable.
All right, so he's gonna play unless he has a setback in practice or something. He's gonna play.
Full participant on Monday's practice.
Yeah. I'm gonna take New England. Like we said, they're gonna try and score like 60 points.
So then clearly you're taking the over.
Yeah, I'll take the over. 50 and a
New
half.
England get the over by
no.
themselves.
55. Well, 55 is pretty high.
Yeah, but they're mad.
Yeah.
They're really mad.
I'm gonna. Yep. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna take the over.
Of course.
All right.
See, then we're gonna get trapped, and Indianapolis is gonna win like 10-0.
I know. No,
Oh, you wanted these? Oh, well, here's the opposite.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm confident Brady and Belichick are big enough jerks that they're going to try and run up the score as much as they possibly can to prove a
Here's the real
point.
question. With that in mind, do you take Tom Brady as your as your daily fantasy
Oh,
quarterback?
absolutely.
Is he a lock?
Yeah, I mean, I would normally take it like in the weeks that I've done FanDuel, most of the time I've had at least 1 or 2 entries with Tom Brady, like each week.
Right.
Strictly, mainly him and Gronkowski, just because they could team up for 3 touchdowns at any given time.
Any given time.
Yeah. So yeah, and I have Tom Brady on one of my fantasy teams, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does this week. Unless it's just going to be one big giant letdown.
Which it may.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty confident so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Are you taking the over?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of spite.
Is 55 the highest over this year, or is that a tie?
Haven't we had 55 and a half?
Yeah. Eagles Dallas was 55 and a half. That's right.
55 and a half.
Yeah, that's the highest, I believe.
That's the highest so far.
Okay. And then the Monday night game, the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are -4.
It's tough. It's a tough game.
I'm trying not to get overconfident that the Eagles have finally figured out what they need to do. That's what worries me, is that like, oh, okay, the offense is clicking, they're starting to understand it, they're going to be okay. And then the next game they come out and play like crap because it's happened before.
Right.
And the Giants are playing very well, a lot better than most people expected. But who do you take? Giants are on a 3-game winning streak after losing the first 2 of the year. They've beaten Washington, Buffalo, and San Francisco. And then after the Eagles, they have the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Eagles.
Had it not been in Philly, I might have taken the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm a little tentative to take them, but I'm hoping they'll be able to continue what they got going last week against the Saints.
Right.
And as long as their defense can keep Odell Beckham Jr. in check, I think they'll be okay.
Should be okay.
Should be okay. So you taking Philly as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Over under is 50.
Taking them and ride the momentum. I'll take the under.
I'm going to say under as well.
I mean, one would think, because of these two teams and the way they played last week, this is prime over candidate. But I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think these teams are consistent enough.
Yeah, it might be a little more of a defensive game.
Yep.
All right.
Or at least miscues or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's all speculative.
Four teams on bye this week: Dallas, Oakland, St. Louis, and Tampa. So you will not get to see Jameis Winston throw more pick sixes. Yeah, so that'll do it for week 6 picks. Got everything taken care of, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
No other housekeeping to take care of.
It is Tuesday when we're recording this, which means tomorrow is New Comic Day. Justin, are you excited for tomorrow's releases?
Yes and no. It's another hogger.
Okay. Why are you not excited?
It's a hogger.
Because there's too many?
Hogger being our personal jargon for it's a large week.
Okay, yeah.
I don't particularly like those.
There's a lot of new Marvel stuff I noticed coming this week too. A lot more new Marvel stuff.
Yep, plenty of Batman and Justice League, and for Marvel, there's new Captain America.
Even though the last new Captain America was a whopping 5 issues.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Chewbacca gets its own comic.
Does that mean like every text box is gonna be like?
Well, no. Then they'll do it once, and then in a parentheses they'll have translated from. I forget what the actual term for.
Oh, you
the
knew it.
language.
You said it like the other week.
Yeah, I did it via text, but I didn't.
Oh.
Now I want to look it up.
Let's see.
Wookiee
Guardians of the Galaxy.
language.
Shattered Empire.
Shriwook? Shirewook?
That's it.
I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. I can see it.
You're not a Wookiee. That's why you can't pronounce it.
Yeah, you're right.
If you were from Kashyyyk with 3 Ys, you'd be in business.
Yes. You've been watching The Flash, I presume.
Yep.
How's the season so far?
If you're comfortable with the idea that there's parallel universes,
Are you?
oh, that's like basic comic frivolity. Like it's like one of those things that, like, if you read comic books, it's like alternate universe. All right, done. I don't need to know.
You don't even question it.
No,
Okay.
it's just typical comic BS.
How about Gotham? You told me you weren't going to watch it this year.
I know. I keep watching it.
Have you watched every episode so far?
Yeah. Better question. Have you watched The Muppets?
I have not. I wanted to. I just haven't yet. Is that one where I need to watch the first episode and not skip around, or can I just like jump in?
No. Kermit and Piggy aren't dating. That's it.
I knew that much.
Yeah.
The commercials revealed that secret.
Yeah.
All right. Do they have like different guests on each week?
Pretty much.
Okay. And is it like a sketch show or?
It's 30 Rock with the Muppets.
Okay. So when does Tina Fey come on?
It's a good question.
All right, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Maybe that'll happen.
Should have been a slam dunk.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Anyway.
How about some video games? You got any of those new releases coming out in the near future that you're excited for? Or?
I'm way behind. Pac-Man's been eating up a lot of my time. Like, he eats up a lot of power pellets.
There's nothing wrong with the classics.
That's me doing Pac-Man.
Yeah. All right. That will do it for Week 6 picks and the No Punt Intended podcast on Entertainment Buddha. Be sure, as always, to check us out online at www.entertainmentbuddha.com, where we make you a better geek one post at a time. Follow us on Twitter at NoPuntIn10DED. And we'll be back next week for our Week 7 picks and to see how we did for Week 6. Justin, take us out.
FanDuel out. Wait, that's not it. Shut it down. Wait, that's not it.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
You always pretend like you don't know.
Well, then shut it down.
I will. Right now.